Welcome back to Shem's Universe. So today, guys, we're going to go over how to make money using AstroNumerics. So AstroNumerics, to put it quite simply, guys, is just astrology and numerology combined. So what you got to do is you got to look at different aspects of numerology and astrology and then see how do you want to weaponize it to your own personal use. Meaning some people might want to weaponize it to just find love. Some people might want to weaponize it to get good luck, better luck with certain things, maybe know what days to do things or what lucky colors they have. Some people use AstroNumerics and come to me and say, I want to have better health. How do I go about doing that? So there's always different options because when you're looking at both an astrology and numerology chart, they're looking at the same things, but through two different lenses. So they're going to have different interpretations on how to go about doing certain things. And that's what gives you an advantage because you have the full scope when you study both on how to actually fix your life. Now, the average person always struggles economically. We all grow up either lower middle class, so we all want to get to that upper class of society. In order to do that, you have to really study deeply on how your chart actually works. Meaning your chart, like I just said, discusses different facets of your life, even family, health, when to do certain things. You look at your transits, things like that for sure. But you need to know exactly in what sequence and what order you're doing it. So I want to give you guys a brief lesson today on how to do that. This video will be shorter than my usual ones, probably be 7 to 8 minutes max. But it really will show you exactly how to get the results you want economically, because I look at certain things in everybody's chart to figure that out. So the first thing that I look over is, of course, and everybody should know this when we look at a numerological perspective, is the LifePath number. Now, there are different versions of numerology that can give me a more definitive answer on how you can make money via your LifePath number, which is very, very important. When I look at it from a Pythagorean perspective, what I'm looking for is if a person has a single digit LifePath number via 1 through 9, if they have a karmic debt number 13, 14, 16, or 19, or if they have a master number 11, 22, or 33. From the Pythagorean perspective, to start off with, the LifePath number will mean a lot to me because it'll tell me a general topic of how their life will go, and that topic usually will relate to their career in a certain capacity. The next thing is if they have a karmic debt, that will tell me a lot about how hard they need to go, meaning do they have to put pedal to the metal or can they just be a normal person like the single digits? The next one would be, of course, if they have a master number there. If they have a master number, then they have an advanced ability to manifest. Then I just got to figure out if they have any sort of anxiety disorders or stress disorders, because that's what usually comes with master numbers if you're not fully tapped in with your energy. After which I'll go over to a Chaldean chart if I don't see a definitive enough answer via LifePath. The reason I'll go through the Chaldean is because a lot of you guys don't realize, you'll ask me questions about, oh, what if I'm an 18/9 LifePath? What if I'm a 28/1? And I'm like, that has nothing to do with Pythagorean at all. So if you study that, you need to minimize your number anyways. But I answer these things because I understand that there's different versions of numerology. So I understand the question you're asking me anyways. I'm not going to be a smartass about it. The Chaldean part is where you'll really find definitive answers, guys. Because even if you're a LifePath 1, when you look at the Chaldean perspective, there's different sets of ones. And what they do is they add everything together from start to finish. So if you're born like me, May 25th, 1994, they're going to say, okay, 5 plus 2 plus 5 plus 1 plus 9 plus 9 plus 4. And then you get what we call a major Fadic number, which is your fate. You then can also do it via where you separate year, month, and date the same way you do for Pythagorean, and then we call that the minor Fadic number. The major has the most control over your life, and then the minor has slight control. And through those, you'll see different definitions of each number. Like a 17/8 LifePath is very different from a 35/8 LifePath. Very, very different in the way they get things done, their luck, everything. So when you look at Chaldean, it really dissects your LifePath in a lot more concise way that I really appreciate. The next way I look at somebody if they're going to get rich, or not even if they're going to get rich, but how they can get rich, is via their expression number. Now, your expression number is a name number that has different derivatives attached to it. So if you have an expression number that's a karmic debt, of course, you have to work extra hard. Again, I do, so I work very, very hard in what I do. If you have a regular single digit number, that's great. You just know based off the topic of that number, that's how you achieve your LifePath. So looking at it from a Pythagorean perspective, again, we're looking at expression number. We then know how to achieve our LifePath. Your expression number is more of a gateway to your riches than your LifePath, I would say. unless you're looking at your life path from a Chaldean perspective, where the life path's actually telling you what to do. So your expression number in Pythagorean will tell you a lot about how to go about getting your life path accomplished. That's the car on the highway, which is the life path is the highway. The expression number is the car. That's what you're in. That's your natural advantages and natural disadvantages that you're going to have in this lifetime. When you look at the name number now in Chaldean, it's a little bit different. I'll be looking at your name that you go by most. And when I look at expression number, remember, that's the name that you're born with. Everybody always asks me this as well, like, oh, what should I be going by, the name I have now or the name I was born with? It depends what numerology philosophy you're following. If you're following the Pythagorean, which is the most predominant, then you're going to be, you're going to be looking at the your birth number, not your birth number, your birth name on your birth certificate all the way across. So when you have that, you then realize, okay, that's the vibration that I came into this world with. That makes sense. But that never really stuck with me quite well. I was just like, well, because my name personally changed from Collins to Campbell as my last name when I was like 5. So I was like, so what's my expression number? Like, don't I have the vibration of this Campbell last name now? When you look at it from the Chaldean perspective, none of that stuff matters. The name that you go by matters the most, what people are saying to you. Like, my name is Shem Roy, but everybody calls me Shem. Shem Roy adds to 27/9 in Chaldean, which is a secret command number. And then Shem itself adds to 17/8, which is in direct cohesion with my life path. So it makes sense that I'd actually just go with Shem so easily. I liked Shem. Everybody around me liked you calling me Shem because that was in direct cohesion with my life path anyways. So it's just to give you guys a little bit of background. That's how that makes sense. So when you realize what your name number is in Chaldean, it gives you an exact set of careers you should go for, what materials you should deal with, what type of gems you should have. So it really goes into like how to deal with your luck, your health, and then of course your money as well, but it delves deep into your career. The next one, of course, is your birth number. Your birth number, no matter what side you look at it from Chaldean or Pythagorean, it's going to give you a definition of your mindset. So they call it the psychic number in Chaldean. So it just tells you about your psyche, how you think, what your natural inclinations will be. If you're a 7, maybe you'll be a very good reader or researcher. If you're an 8, you'll be ruthless, ambitious. 1, good leader. 2, cooperative or emotional, whatever, right? So you'll know how to deal with certain things based off of what your birth number is. It just tells you more about how your mind's already working, so you can actually just pivot that and use it to your advantage, if that makes sense. The next thing I like about Chaldean, though, I've done this in like videos years ago. I did a full description of birth number and life path combinations, what they actually equate to, meaning like what sort of results you'll get. So if somebody's like a birth number 7, life path 7, they'll be different from somebody who's birth number 7, life path 9, or life path 8. They're going to have different things that go well with them, like gems, lucky days, diseases, all these things. But more importantly, you then know what your general, statistically, how lucky you are when it comes to wealth and getting money. You'll actually know that via your birth and life path number. It's not like they're adding it together. They're just looking at how those numbers coexist together within you. And then they're able to come up with a description based off the archetypes. So like every birth number 7, life path 8 might be into some sort of like me, into technology, sitting down occupations, in occupations in which don't demand a lot of emotion. More so you have to be more ruthless. So that's the thing, is you have to more so see where your general trajectory is when it comes to your birth number and life path. And that's something that I can calculate for you guys via my AstroNumeric reading. I'm already giving it out now in my readings, pretty much like your lucky days, all these stuff. And what I'm doing is I'm using your birth number and life path. So even when I'm giving you guys a Pythagorean reading, at the bottom now, I'm still giving you that Chaldean portion of it, so you actually know what lucky days to go with, what your lucky businesses are, whole 9 yards. All right. So that's more so like the numerology side of it. Like that's what I'm looking at from a scientific standpoint. Your birth number, life path expression, but more importantly, how they coexist together, and then the different definitions they have across the board. The next side is the astrological side. Whether I'm looking at Vedic or the tropical or whole house, whatever, you're going to get some of the same definitions. I like to really make this very simplistic and very basic. So what you want to look at if you're looking at your astrology is, of course, we always know, big 3, your sun, moon, and rising. I'd cut out the sun and moon are good for knowing about self. The rising is where you want to look for the money. Your rising sign is going to tell you about your natural inclinations, skill sets, and drawbacks, the same way your expression number does. And that will teach you exactly how to get money, because it's how to rise in life. It's called your ascendant number. How do you rise? How do you go up? You also can use that to then get transit reports to know when is best to make money, when not to make money, when to be low, when to just be focused on spirituality, when to prioritize your health, when to prioritize family, when to watch out for family issues, whole 9 yards. It's a navigation of every single year, every single month, every single week if you need to be. It goes that minuscule detail to every single day. That's the thing. So it's very, very detailed. Your rising sign is definitely the most important because it's derived from the minute you're born. So nothing else can supersede that. Moon and sun signs garbage compared to it. I don't care what anybody says. Your rising sign tells you everything you need to know about yourself. When it comes to money now, next house we're going to look at, right next to that first house with Ascendant, we're looking at the second house, your lucky money house. What sign is in there? What governs that house? And then you want to look at what planetary influences are in that house. Is it empty or is it just the sign that's in the house? Because everybody's like, oh, I have an empty house. What does that mean? You never have an empty house. Like, you have a sign in the house that has a governor. So that means that planet still resides in that house to a certain degree. And what that means is that you'll still have certain topics surrounding it. So even if you have a Libra, let's say, in the second house and there's no other planets there, that still means that you have to now look at where was Venus placed, for one, because that's going to give you more of an inclination of career. And then two, what does Libra mean in the second house? That's going to give you a very vivid, clear, concise reasoning on how to make money. The next one is the sixth house, same exact prerogative. You want to look at the governor, meaning the sign. How do you learn through material transaction, your health? That stuff's good too. But it teaches you a lot about your position. Like, if you see like Aries in the sixth, most people that have Aries in the sixth become like team leaders or managers. Even at like a small job like McDonald's, they'll become a manager or something like that. And then they'll move up and maybe get an independent career in the future, depending on what their second house is, or 10th house, or even their 8th house. So next one I'd say is the 8th house. That's where your secret money is. You can look if you're going to get inheritances, look at what the dark side of money will be, where your drawbacks will be. So that'll teach you a lot about how to dodge pitfalls, or what sort of transformations you need to make in order to become the best version of yourself. So when you understand that, you don't have to look at the 8th house as like a bad house or a negative house or a house that's cursed. We have to look at it as that's my shadow side. So how do I use my shadow side to then make me money? What if I have Scorpio there and I really have just like a real need for power and just some control over my domain? Maybe I need to get into politics. Maybe I need to infiltrate the government in some sort of way, right? So you have to figure out what exactly is it that's your secret prerogative. What really drives you? That's what the 8th house is going to tell you, and then the 8th house is going to tell you what to transform into to achieve that. Your 10th house, which is the final one here, is a lot about your career. So it's usually called the midheaven, and it's going to tell you a lot about how you're going to make money. I'm not even how to make money, but what sort of career status you'll have. So if somebody has like Cancer there or a Leo, I'm going to be like, yeah, artistic or performance-based for sure. They're either going to be online like me, they're going to be on stage, they might be in movies. It all depends, right? So you have to just look at what sort of status are you meant to have. If you're maybe a Gemini, maybe you'll be known for talking in the 10th house. If you're an Aries, you'll be known as like a real big boss, ruthless figure, an icon. So it's all these things. But that's how you put your sort of charts together. And we call this via AstroNumerics. And you start dividing things up, compartmentalizing it, and saying, here's my money section, here's my business, not even business, but here's my family section, here's my health section, here's my self-actualization section, maybe / spiritual, right? So then this is how you divide things up, and you actually get this thing down to a science where you have methods on how to do everything. So when you figure that out, that's when you achieve true success. Without that, no success will be given to you whatsoever. So that's it for my video today, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you have any questions for me, just leave in the comment section. Aside from that, like, subscribe, holla at me, guys. That's it for today. Peace.